All right, welcome to the R5 video where here our goal is really going to be quite simple. Here, we just want to solve rational equations. Now, whenever I think of rational equations, I have to remember that this is where we're going to have something that involves fractions. And more importantly, there's going to be a variable in the denominator. All right, so solving rational equations is going to be an equation, so there's going to be an equal sign, right? It's going to involve fractions, and there's going to be a variable in the denominator. Now, here's what's really awesome is that solving rational equations is the easiest thing that we're going to do when it comes to rationals in general. The reason why it's so easy is that after the very first step, there are no more fractions. So once we get through once we get through our very first step, we're going to see there's no more fractions, and then it becomes very simple to solve. All right, so I'm going to put together some guidelines for us to go through. First thing we're going to do whenever it comes to solving rational equations, right? We want to find the LCD. So find the LCD, and remember that that is the lowest or least common. Come on, there's an N, not an M. Denominator. All right, and in general, we're going to leave this in factored form. So I'm just going to say factored like that. Okay. The second thing we want to do, so that's number one. Number two, we're going to multiply both sides by the LCD. And in general, this is most likely we're going to have to distribute. So I'm going to write the word distribute. In general, it's going to be on one side, sometimes two, but I don't think any of our problems are going to have that. So remember, you're going to have to distribute to one side, and I'll show you what that looks like. So we're going to make sure that we use parentheses. Okay? And then the third thing we're going to do is we're going to solve the remaining equation. And this, you'll see. I mean, the remaining equations are usually really simple. All right, they're usually very simple. So let's go through. I have 4 examples that I want to do. So let's go through, do these examples, and see how this kind of falls under each one of those. So the first example, we have 1 over x equals 1 over 5x minus x minus 1 over 5x. So off on my scratch work, I'm going to say, what's the LCD? Well, my denominators are x, 5x, and 5x. Well, when I look at these, they all have an x, but they don't all have a 5. So my LCD here is going to be 5x. I want to make sure that I involve each and every single one of these denominators. What do they all have? And if I multiply the one, like, right, 2 of them are 5x, that's easy. But here, this one does not have the 5. So what I'm really looking at for these is, what do I need to multiply the one guy by to make sure that he looks like all the others? And here, if I multiply this by 5, then everybody looks the same. Well, now that I know my LCD, all right, I want to go ahead and multiply both sides by the LCD. So here's really the first move, or the first step that we're going to make. So on the left side, I put the whole entire left side in parentheses, and I multiply by 5x. I have to put the parentheses on the right-hand side. Notice that there's 2 terms here, right? Separated by subtraction. Oh my goodness, you can't see. That's really annoying. Sorry about that. So here, this is where I've multiplied the left-hand side by 5x here. Now I'm going to multiply the right-hand side by 5x as well. But notice how there's 2 terms separated by that subtraction. So this 5x has to go here and here. Now, you don't have to do this every single time. I'm only going to do this on the very first time. But if I distribute this whole thing here, so this step, I'm going to put this in brackets because in general, I'm going to skip on I'm going to skip from now on. Skip this step from now on. But I want you to see visually what's happening. So the 5x gets multiplied by this guy, and I have 5x times 1 is 5x over x. 5x times, and then got to get my equal sign. 5x times 1 again is 5x divided by 5x minus, and here I have 5x times x minus 1 all over 5x. Well, then let's see what cancels here. Well, the x divided by x is gone, and now I'm left with 5. 5x divided by 5x is 1. Minus this 5x divided by that 5x is gone, and I have an x minus 1. Well, this is not so terrible now. And if I distribute my negative, I would have 5 equals 1 minus x. Negative 1 times a negative 1 is a positive 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, so 5 equals 2 minus x. Now all I have to do is solve this equation. Well, if I subtract 2 from both sides, I'd have 3 equals negative x divided by negative 1. Right, 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 3. So then I would have negative 3 equals x. And I'm done. Okay? I know it seems like a lot, and I went through this last part really fast, mainly in part because we've been doing this kind of stuff since 6th grade. So here, just a quick review. All right, we asked ourselves, what's the LCD? Multiplied both sides by the LCD. This, we're going to skip this big old step right here from now on. But once we multiply by the LCD, what ends up happening is we have something really easy to solve afterwards. Let's try another problem. Another example here. We have 1 over 2x squared plus 5 over 2x equals x minus 2 over x squared. Okay, what's my LCD here? I have a 2x squared, a 2x, and an x squared. And really, if I want them all to be the same, I got to think about, well, what happens if I just multiply them all together, right? So 2x squared times 2x would be 4x to the third, but that might be doing a little too much, right? Well, they all have an x, right? And I could see that x squared would be smaller than x to the third, so I know I'm going to use it x squared. And if I multiply this by 2, I would have 2x squared. If I multiply him by x, I'd have 2x squared. And here I already have 2x squared. So I know my LCD here is going to be 2x squared. And now I want to multiply both sides. So the left side here by 2x squared, and the right side by 2x squared. Now, as we did on that last one, remember how that big step that I wanted to try and get you to skip? We saw a whole lot of things that canceled. All right, so here this time I'm going to distribute on the right side. I have to distribute to both. 2x squared is going to cancel with 2x squared, and I'm left with 1. Here, 2x squared is going to cancel with 2x, and if I did this on my scratch work, so the scratch, if I do 2x squared divided by 2x, I'm left with x. So then I'd have plus, now there's a 5 already there, so 5x. Then on the right side, the 2x squared is going to cancel, or the x squared is going to cancel the x squared, and I'm left with a 2. And then I have my x minus 2 left over in the numerator. Now I could see, if I distribute my 2x, or my 2 to the x minus 2, I'd have 1 plus 5x equals 2x minus 4. And now I have variables on both sides, numbers on both sides. Remember, when you get to a stage like this, you want your numbers on one side and your variables on the other. And here, the biggest variable, I have a 5x here and a 2x here. So I'm going to move my x's to the left side, and I'm going to move my numbers to the right side. 5x minus 2x is 3x. And then that equals negative 4 minus 1, which is negative 5. Divide by 3, and x equals negative 5 thirds. All right, let's do another example. Oh, we don't have time for another example. Excuse me. I'm going to make another video, a part B, and I'll do a few more examples on part B.